Hello, folks. Wayne Elliott here. I am the president of the Strauss Naturals Company. I started out a customer approximately 30 years ago. The rest, as they say, is history. The most profound experience of my life was my relationship with Jim Strauss and his teachings over many years. He lived in Ontario. He traveled back to Ontario and stayed with me and my family for a month at a time, twice a year. It was a great education. And he was a wonderful man. I truly miss him. His son, Peter, of course, is still with us, and tremendous wealth of knowledge himself. So I was anxious once I heard of the Strauss heart drops. I'd had a heart attack at age 35. And was 5 years before I learned of Strauss and their heart drops. So that was the luckiest day of my life, was the day I learned of the Strauss heart drops and called out there and got a bottle and received it. That was a very lucky day for me. I'd gone downhill in addition to the angina symptoms, the night sweats, shortness of breath, leg cramps, and so forth, pinches in the chest. I had developed high blood pressure and an irregular heartbeat, something they called supraventricular tachycardia. That drove me crazy. I thought my heart was skipping a beat. It wasn't. It was racing one beat, leaving a blank space. And that truly, of all the symptoms of everything, that was the worst for me. Went to sleep with it and woke up with it. So thanks to these, changed my life, the Strauss heart drops. And we're grateful for this formula. However, it did not look after my blood pressure. I still had high blood pressure. So when I met Jim Strauss, I told him that, as marvelous as the heart drops had helped me, energy increase, blood flow increase, it was amazing to me. I still had high blood pressure. Jim said, well, then it must be your kidneys are the cause, not your heart. And that's when I learned he had other formulas, and the kidney blood pressure formula did very nicely for me after 3 months. And my blood pressure for almost about 28 years was 120/70. Then I got myocarditis, inflammation of the heart after COVID, and that changed everything, blood pressure and so forth. It was tough to beat for a few months. The irregular heartbeat, I took the Strauss Cardio Calm formula. It's a fabulous formula. Health Canada just told the company a year and a half or so ago, I guess it'd be 2 years next month, that if they added a bit more of two ingredients that were in the formula, uva ursi and juniper berries, they could claim it as a calmative for anxiety. And as a matter of fact, one of our own staff has always used the Cardio Calm as a calmative. So it's just a great formula. And those three formulas, the Strauss heart drops, the Strauss kidney blood pressure, and the Cardio Calm, are what helped me so much almost 30 years ago. So they are, I guess, my favorite three products because they've helped me so much, and I continue to take them to this day. So we want to talk about some general things first with regards to our health and wellness. Then we're going to focus on women's health a little bit today. So we need enough good water. It's very important. Our body is 62% water by weight. Our lungs are more than 62% water. But by average, over 62% water is our body mass. So we need enough. It's very, very important. We should try and drink good water, not everything out of plastic if we can help it. I personally drink the alkaline water, helping with body pH, amongst other things. if we can keep our body pH, our body environment, less acidic, then there's a lot less chance for some of the nasty things that require an acidic environment to grow in us, from parasites to cancer, all kinds of ailments and nasty things that invade us, like that acidic environment. So I find the alkaline water is good for that as well, and that's what we drink in my house. And you must drink enough. You can't carry around the same bottle all day long and say that you drink enough water. Best way to start your day is with a large tumbler or two. I put lemon in mine, and usually I'll put my granular vitamin C as well. It's just easy to do that. Great way to start your day, not with coffee or tea, but with that water. And then you can have your coffee and tea. It's also good to wait an hour or two before you eat anything. If you can just get up, have that large tumbler or two of water, and it's just a good start for the day. We also know the benefits of intermittent fasting. If you can eat all your food in a day in an 8-hour period, leaving 16 hours for sleep and not eating, that's proven to be very beneficial. It gives your digestive system a chance to work properly and digest everything that you've eaten. It even gives your heart the rest that it needs, because if any part of our body's working, our heart has to be working. So it's just a very good thing, the intermittent fasting. Some people, some of my friends have gone down to 6 hours a day and even 4 hours a day. I have never found that very convenient. I think that 8 hours a day is challenging enough. It is for me anyway. So in other words, if you had your first food at 6 or 10 a.m., 6 p.m., you should have had your last food for the day. And when it comes to weight loss, of course, a lot of the cause is snacks and things that we might eat at night, after supper, after dinner, which is the worst time to eat them. But it's something that many of us have done and do. And so again, the intermittent fasting is good for that as well. Stops that evening snacking. And enough good water. I just can't stress that enough. Stomach ailments. We spend in Canada about $40 million a day on stomach ailments, one type or another, ulcers and digestion issues. And so much happens in our gut. It's very important. The best probiotic, bar none, in the world is European sauerkraut. 2 ingredients, salt and cabbage, green cabbage. Not wine or vinegar. It can hurt your stomach. So it's just 2 ingredients, salt, cabbage. And if you do have stomach issues and you take a couple of good-sized forkfuls before eating everything, or anything rather, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, cookie and a cup of tea, before eating anything, if we have a couple of forkfuls of sauerkraut, chew it very well. We can repair our stomach and actually have a new stomach lining in about 10 days, eating the sauerkraut before eating anything or everything else. If you have Crohn's colitis, that's the inability to digest fiber. Ironically, what's needed is fiber. Fiber is your only fix, the very thing that you cannot digest. There's 2 easy, economical ways to deal with it. Strauss doesn't make this, just as it doesn't make the sauerkraut. Digestive enzymes. This is the brand that I use, Now Super Enzymes. What's important is that they're vegetable enzymes. vegetable caps. It's like having a little shredder in your stomach to help you break the food down to help digest it. The fiber does not have to be in big pieces. That's for sure. We just need the fiber. It's the inability to digest fiber. You need that fiber. So these super enzymes will help your stomach break down the food that you eat. Digestion starts with saliva in our mouth. So you chew everything well. You should always chew your food well. It's one of the big keys to maintaining your weight and not gaining weight is chewing your food properly. You'll be full sooner. You won't eat as much in the end. The other thing with the Crohn's colitis is, and it's not forever, I'd say most people in my experience, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, put all of your food in a blender. Make it like baby food, like pablum. Whatever you're going to have, roast beef, mashed potatoes, gravy, green beans, in a blender. It'll taste good. We eat it all together anyway, so it won't affect the taste. There's only one thing that you cannot eat, blended or not, and that's apple skins. They're just too difficult to digest if you have Crohn's or colitis. So 3 weeks, 4 weeks, using a blender for your food. Everything, whatever you're going to eat, put in that blender. Using these super enzymes, and you will find that you will start to digest food. If you're way underweight, you will begin to gain weight. If you're bleeding, I've known young ladies who just constantly bleed. They need transfusions. It will stop that and help you with that. So a blender to blend your food, the digestive enzymes. For stomach ailments, if you're having issues with your stomach, again, it's magic. It's better than any probiotic you can buy. Sauerkraut made with only salt and green cabbage. When it comes to our pets, a lot of their issues start in the gut as well. And again, this has nothing to do with Strauss. It's a friend of mine that manufactures these products. You can go on and find them at Myco Pet, MYCO pet.com. We all love our pets, that's for sure. And sometimes we'll end up spending a lot of money on our pets. I suggest you check out that website, Myco Pet, MYCO pet.com. And excuse me, perhaps try some of their natural products. I don't think you'll be sorry. For weight loss, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, slowing down your eating and chewing your food properly in itself will help you to lose weight. By virtue of the fact you will eat less, you'll know that you're satisfied sooner, and that always helps to eat less. Another thing that I've come to take myself, again, Strauss doesn't make it, pure green coffee bean extract. It purports to take the sugar out of our blood. And I tested it with my mother years ago. She was diabetic, my mother was, and took her blood sample every day a couple of times. And so she was the guinea pig, but we both did it. Took the green coffee bean extract, and good results. Mom was no longer going up to a number of 13, 14, 15 when she would have something sweet. It did a very nice job for her. So I just mentioned that. It's green coffee bean extract. That's all that's in there. And in my experience, works very well. So if you have diabetes, you might also wish to try it. But to help take sugar out of our blood is another a good way to safely lose some weight. What's very important, now chewing our food is very important. If you're swallowing chunks, boy, oh boy, you're giving your stomach a real test to try and digest and break down the chunks of meat and so forth. I just started years ago eating much smaller bites of beef. I love beef, but I cut it much smaller, and that can certainly help. Swallowing chunks will not, you must chew your food. Digestion starts in our mouth with saliva. So try and chew your food well. Put your fork down once in a while. Take a few minutes extra. We're supposed to enjoy our meal. It's not a race. And it will help you when it comes to the weight control as well, by slowing up. If you're going to lose, if you have a plan to lose a lot of weight, I'm going to use the example of a 300-pound person that would like to be 200 pounds. That's a tremendous weight loss. And what's very, very important is that you detox or cleanse, it's also called, your body and your systems either before or just as well during your weight loss program. I'll tell you why. It's said the average of us has 30 pounds of waste and toxins in us. Let's pretend that the 300-pound person also just has 30 pounds for arithmetic's sake. There's a good chance they'll have more than 30 pounds, of course, but let's just use the 30 pounds. And let's say their goal is to be 200 pounds weight. So they'll be losing 100 pounds. And I have friends that have lost 100 pounds. My closest friend and former teammate lost 160 pounds. He went from 400 to 240. So very important, but he certainly detoxed while he was losing this weight tremendously. And I can assure you he had a lot more than 30 pounds of waste and toxins in him when he was 400 pounds. But back to the 300 pounds with a goal of 200 pound total weight body mass. If you have 30 pounds of waste and toxins inside you, and you don't do anything about it, except start on your weight loss program, as you lose weight, a bigger percentage of your body mass is toxins and waste. If you didn't do any cleansing, any detoxing, and the Strauss formulas are cleansing formulas, there's no question about that, whether it's blood flow in your arteries or kidneys, bladder, prostate, they all have that cleansing effect, your liver and so forth. If you don't do any cleansing and detoxing, a larger percentage of your body weight or your mass becomes toxin. And when you get from 300 to 200 pounds, your desired weight, you've just gone from that same 30 pounds, which was 10% of your body weight when you were 300 pounds, and now it would be 15% of your body weight at 200 pounds. If you think about it, you'll likely know people who have lost weight like that. And you'll also know that some of them didn't look good. I found the earliest giveaway was the red blotchy skin, not even color like we're meant to have. Red blotchy skin. Oftentimes those folks get sick and sometimes they die. It's just not healthy to increase our body mass, the percentage of toxins and waste. It's a very unhealthy thing to do. So if you do intend on losing much weight, I would say, if you're losing any kind of serious weight, 15, 20 pounds, do yourself a favor, lose the easiest weight to lose, which is those toxins and waste. Do some cleansing, either during or before. And not only is it the easiest weight to lose, it's the best weight to lose. It's the best weight to lose poisons, toxins, and waste out of your body. There is just... It's like the furnace filter, the filters in your automobile or your farm tractor. If you didn't change those or clean the air filter, the machine would stop working. Well, our bodies, as amazing as they are and resilient as they are, you're best to clean those filters and the likes of your liver and kidneys and whatnot, your entire system. So that's with regard to weight loss, very important. As I mentioned earlier, we do need to exercise. The Creator gave us limbs for a reason, arms and legs, and we're meant to use them. if we are too sedentary, if we're too sitting around all the time and not doing anything, not walking or stretching in the garden or doing some stretching, doing some exercises, a bit of cardio. It doesn't need to be tough. You're not likely going in the Olympics, especially if you're my age, but a nice stroll, 20, 30 minutes a day. There's great benefits in. If you're lucky and have a garden, to get on your hands and knees, pull some weeds, pick your tomatoes or whatever produce you're growing. Other kinds of stretch. Yoga is wonderful. You can stretch in bed. You can start your stretching right in bed. It's good as well to do a little bit with weights. Again, you're not going into a bodybuilding championship likely. You just want to stay toned. After the age of 40, we begin to lose muscle and bone density. That's not a good thing. So we're best to stay active and try and keep toned, keep exercising. It does not have to be strenuous exercise. We do not have to work with heavy weights. If all you had was a jar of sauerkraut and do some exercises with your arms, it's something, a half a pound in your hand is very beneficial. So we do need to keep moving and use those parts of our body that we're meant to use. If we're completely inactive, it will not work out for us in the end. It just won't. We do need to keep moving. It's hard up north in the wintertime, ice and snow, dangerous. We could fall and break our hip or break our wrist or our arms. So if you can, go to the mall and you can walk inside the shopping plaza. Any way that you need to. If you're lucky, you can join a gym and walk the track. But it is important to keep moving. We humans tend to think that disease and poor health will hit the other person, especially when we're healthy. We just can oftentimes take it for granted. Well, let's take male prostate, for example. More than 50% of men after the age of 60 will suffer some serious issues with their prostate. More than 50%. So that's more than 1 out of 2 men. We need to do a better job with prevention. As I just mentioned, what we're eating, exercising, staying active, what we eat. We have to be careful and be mindful of what we're eating. A diet full of sugar and salt is not going to work out for us in the end. And it won't always be the other person that gets one of these Schedule A diseases. They're just common enough that many of us, in the case of the male prostate, more than half of us will have a serious prostate issue. So an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, as they have always said, and it's true. So let's do our best to keep that in mind, folks, and do simple things. It doesn't have to take a tremendous amount of time. It doesn't have to take a tremendous amount of money, but it is important. Our health is our wealth, and the wealth of those that love and care about us. So if we're going to spend, we spend money on things that aren't good for us, we should be mindful and spend some money on things that we know are good for us and that can help us. Stress, of course, everyone knows stress kills. How does it do that? Well, it can do that in many ways. It's worry. It's a well-known fact as well that so much about what we worry about doesn't happen. But stress itself, we need to combat stress. We'll each have stressful things happen in our lives. There's no doubt about that. I have always found the single best remedy for stress is that walk, that exercise. If you're lucky and you have a bicycle, even a stationary bicycle. I have one and I have it in front of the television set because it's kind of boring just riding the bicycle and not going anywhere. But to put in those times, 25, 30 minutes at a time, moving, it's just very important for prevention. It helps us keep our muscles toned, our bones and muscles dense. So it's just very important to stay at some level of activity. And notwithstanding, up north here, we have the winter, the bad weather, and it can be dangerous to walk outside. Well, find another way. Your stairs in the house, go to the shopping mall, stationary bicycle, light workouts. You can work out with dumbbells that weigh 1 pound, 5 pounds, up to 10 pounds even. It does not have to be strenuous to try and maintain some of this muscle and body mass. I don't know what I'm hearing in the background here, but it's annoying. Somebody must be talking outside. I'm sorry about that, folks. So we want to talk about the women's health today and the two products that Strauss has that are just wonderful. I'm so glad that they were brought back. In fact, excuse me for 1 minute. I'm going to find out where that noise is coming from. Excuse me. So annoying. Sorry, folks. I got it stopped. Yes, the woman's wellness, very important, especially with some of the things that we cannot change. The menstrual cycle that can make our ladies and young ladies and teens feel so tough for a few days a month. It's just not nice for sure. And then, of course, the menopause and perimenopause and postmenopause that can affect so many things. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that. Some of the things that can happen to our ladies is night sweats. Very, very miserable to soak the bedclothes and soak the bedding every night. Very uncomfortable. The hot flashes. I mean, it's unbelievable, really, where people can, our ladies can feel like they're in a broiler oven. All of a sudden, just comes on, and must be terrible. The mood changes and mood swings, sleep issues, poor sleep, interrupted sleep, facial hair, brain fog, hair loss. These are all things that can happen during the various stages of perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause, as well as the reproductive years. And so during the reproductive years, Strauss makes a formula called Woman's Wonder. And this is specifically to help during the menstrual cycle, bloating, cramping, and some great relief for those two symptoms primarily. We've learned from so many of the health store owners and mothers that their daughter will lose days at work or a day at school and suffering with this bloating and cramping and this miserable feeling. So the Strauss Woman's Wonder is just a fabulous formula. Just to tell you a little bit about it, the ingredients, I'll read, that way I won't miss anything. The ingredients in the Woman's Wonder formula are squaw vine herb, raspberry leaf, cramp bark, blessed thistle, uva ursi leaf, dong quai root, ginger root, golden seal, lobelia, marshmallow root, false unicorn root, and it supports women's fertility It helps alleviate PMS, promotes a healthy menstrual cycle. These herbs are historically known and proven over centuries, really, to help in the ways that they help. 100% natural ingredients, 100% natural. And not a new formula. Strauss brought them back in the liquid formula just a year or so ago, and they're wonderful and very helpful. The other one is our Strauss menopause formula. Again, just not new, but back in a liquid form after a few years by popular demand. And in the menopause formula, here are it's our most extensive formula. 20 different herbs in this formula. Blue cohosh root, black cohosh root, pennyroyal herb, squaw vine herb, raspberry leaf, cramp bark, uva ursi leaf, valerian root, lady's slipper root, ginseng root, ginger root, bayberry bark, lady's mantle herb, saffron flower, periwinkle herb, donkey root, blessed thistle, false unicorn root, sarsaparilla root, damiana leaf, licorice root, and lobelia. That's our most complex formula, 20 herbs. Strauss didn't put any herbs in, I was going to say for the author, because they weren't needed. You won't find formulas like the Strauss formulas. You won't find them anywhere. And this is just the best natural medicine that I've ever seen in the last 30 years, and your satisfaction is guaranteed. The other very important issues here is that your satisfaction is guaranteed, 100% money back guarantee. The formulas are safe, over 46 years proven safe. They are 100% natural, as I said before, and most formulas are required to be taken for a minimum 3 months. The heart drops, you need to take those for a minimum 1 year, the Strauss heart drops. And believe me, you won't be sorry. The difference in energy. Our blood flow is energy. It's our most important body function. That's why we have 50,000 miles of veins inside each one of us, twice around the earth. Hard to believe, but it's true. It's because every cell needs blood, from the hair in our head to our toenails and every cell in between. We need that blood. So the Strauss heart drops are very important for the most important body function. Minimum of 1 year. I've been on them now for just shy of 30 years, and I'll never stop. I never want to go back to the issues that I had, and I want to stay clear with blood flow. If you've got grayish blue lips, grayish skin, that's not meant to be. That's generally blood flow. If you have uneven color, that's blood flow. You're meant to be even colored, your skin. So as I said, 100% satisfaction guarantee. The other formulas, minimum 3 months. You may need them if you have an issue. You may need them for 6 months or even longer. Usual, the men's prostate formula, the bladder, incredible. The bladder formula. This is a powerful, incredible formula. Urinary tract infections, incontinence, just lack of control, leaking, urgency to go is a great formula. The bladder, the kidney, and the male prostate formula, they have one very, very important ingredient, and that is golden seal root. That's nature's strongest antibiotic herb. And killing bacteria, helping our body get rid of bacteria is just very important. Bacteria is the start or the source of many issues in our body. And so the golden seal root is so important in those three formulas. The upside is you'll get some relief from your symptoms within 7 days. But please, take it for a minimum 3 months. You're not better in 7 days, even if you do have great relief from your symptoms, which you will have. But take it for 3 months and do the job properly. That's what we ask. Back to the women, the women's formulas. The Strauss has the Women's Wonder for the menstrual issues, and the menopause for the premenopause, perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause. There's nothing like it. Again, your satisfaction is guaranteed. You will have these issues, these symptoms so greatly relieved that we're confident you'll be very satisfied. We're going to talk more next time about get deeper into some of the issues that women have, the mood changes and the hot flashes and the foggy mind and all of this. We can't avoid menopause, unfortunately. It's a necessary natural process, but our ladies don't need to suffer the way so many of them do. So we're going to get deeper into that next Tuesday. And the symptoms do vary greatly between women. Some women have very little trouble with their menstrual cycle or with menopause, and others suffer very much. So we're like snowflakes. We're all different from one another, and it's the same thing when it comes to our ladies and their issues that they can suffer with hormones, estrogen and progesterone, and how hormone production changes over time. Why the fluctuations can affect many body systems. And our heart is so important, and it's so important to our females when it comes to this menopause and how they deal with it. There's a direct correlation there. So there's no replacement for the Strauss heart drops. There just isn't anything else like it in the world. It's proven safe, 46 years now commercially available, and your satisfaction guarantee. So we're going to cut it at that for today, folks, and we will get into more of the ladies' issues next Tuesday, as well as go further in depth on our other products. So thank you for joining. If you have any questions, please just ask them. You see the Strauss website address and the toll-free telephone number. If you'd like to communicate with me, just call the office, please, and you will hear from me. And I thank you once again for joining, and wish you all the best in health, and hope that you join us again. You take care now and have a good week. Bye.